Hey guys, I hope everyone was able to write down their measurements yesterday. That'll be important as you make progress. If you're not going to use the scale, it'll be nice to see how your body is changing. And also, if you're the kind of person like me who gets frustrated if I don't see the numbers changing on the scale, but I can see my body getting smaller due to the measurements. So please do that if you have not done that yet. Please write down your measurements. I had a little outline here I wanted to talk about. So in the email that you got this morning, it talks about stopping eating at 80% when you feel 80% full. And that's one of the concepts that is talked about in mindful eating. So mindful eating is being really aware of how much you're consuming and stopping at when you feel 80% full. And also, if you have, this is related to mindful eating, if you have sleep apnea, if you chew your food, then you're strengthening the muscles. The more you chew your food, the more you're strengthening the muscles in your, like in the back of your mouth, your tongue muscles and your throat muscles, and those will help keep your airways open better. So that's something that as a culture we have moved on to more comfort foods. We've lost the strength of those muscles back there, and so our airways are more likely to kind of collapse or cave in a little bit when we sleep. So mindful eating is really a part of a key to this weight loss, part of a key to the weight loss picture. So portion control and chewing your food, and stopping when you're 80% full. So portion control, I know we've been talking about the macros, right? Protein, fats, and carbohydrates, the three macronutrients that your body needs, and the correct portions that are appropriate for everyone. Especially if you don't like to count calories, which nobody likes to do that, right? So it's much easier. You always have your hand with you, so you can tell what is an appropriate portion size. So every time you have a carbohydrate, that's going to be about a fist size or 2 cupped hands for vegetables, but you'll also eat that with a palm-sized protein. So a palm-sized protein could be like a thin, small hamburger, or like a pork chop, or a half of a chicken breast. I mean, chicken breasts are so big right now. You could just cut one of those in half and have one for breakfast and one half for lunch, with some veggies cut up in there or something. And then a thumb-sized fat. And by fat, we are talking about saturated fats are okay. It's just the trans fats to really avoid, and anything that says partially hydrogenated oil is something that that we should be avoiding too. When you're preparing food or going to a restaurant and you look at the menu, think about the breading that if you're getting something fried or baked, and what's the breading made of? Does that fall into the clean eating plan? Is that a protein, a complex carbohydrate, or a healthy fat? Or is the breading a trans fat oil? And bread, is bread on your meal plan? Because if it's not, just see if there's a baked option for that. And then the sauces, a lot of foods, like the Chinese food truck that comes here to Washburn, or anytime you go out, or even cooking at home, what are the sauces made of? Is it like a flour and sugar-based sauce that maybe is tied together with some fats? And would it serve you better towards your goals to really assess that and see how much of the sauce you need, if any, right? Because we're talking about proteins, carbohydrates, and a thumb-sized healthy fat, But if your sauce has flour in it, well, that's not a protein and it's not a complex carbohydrate. It's a simple carb. Or if your sauce has sugar in it, like barbecue sauce has a ton of sugar in it. It's high fructose corn syrup is the sugar that's in that. So if my dial at the time, we talk about turning up and down our dials depending on where we are in a weight loss or weight maintenance cycle. If you're at a place where your weight loss cycle dial is turned way up, then you probably don't want that sugar from the high fructose corn syrup in a barbecue sauce, like on pork chops or pulled pork or something like that. So look for an option without that. And then salad dressings are another like hidden source of a lot of sugar. Especially like the French dressing or honey French, Catalina, that kind of thing. They all have a ton of sugar in them. You're way better suited with just some olive oil and a little vinegar, and maybe some like herbs thrown in there from your garden or from your, where your spice rack. And then there are some other like junky health foods that I just want to talk about for a minute, like yogurt. Plain yogurt is awesome, especially the kind with a high protein. Like I love the Faye yogurt. It has 15 or 17 grams of protein in it, and the 5 grams of sugar that are in it are lactose. And that's a milk sugar. It's naturally occurring. It's not an added sugar. But if you get the kind that has like fruit on the bottom or the honey whatever yogurt, that is added sugar, and we don't need that. If you're looking at labels and trying to make sense of them, anything that ends in ose, dextrose, maltose, glucose, fructose, those are all sugars. Those are all code names for sugar. Let's see. Oh, and then craisins are another like sneaky junk food that people think is healthy. But if you look at your craisins, look at the sugar content and think about what that is doing to your blood sugar when you're trying to eat healthy, and you don't want the insulin. You don't want your body to become resistant to insulin. So you want to really think about like low glycemic food. And again, just the craisins are sweetened with a lot of sugar. At least the main brands are like Ocean Spray and stuff. So look at that label and just take a look at how much added sugar is in there. So if you're having like pork chops for dinner with barbecue sauce, and then your salad has the sugary salad dressing on it and craisins, that's a lot of sugar for one meal, and that's a lot of sugar for all day, let alone all condensed into one meal. So that will really make a person's blood sugar spike, which prevents us from burning fat. And then moving on, when you get to be my age, you might not want to work out, or you might not want to be uncomfortable working out. But if you are starting to get a little bit of belly fat, like I know I am, a few times a week I really try to get into the high intensity interval workout, because that is the thing that targets our belly fat. And you don't need to do that more often than, you don't need to do that for longer than 30 minutes max, but really anything like 10 to 20 minutes is good. And you don't even have to do that all at once. You can break that up over a few workouts. But the intervals, right, we talked about the afterburn a little bit yesterday, so those intervals of getting your heart rate up and then coming back down are really what's going to target the belly fat, as well as allow a person to continue burning fat longer in the day, which will feed back to our measurements that we talked about earlier. So, and then if you get sore after you work out, that's another point that I wanted to bring up. And one of the reasons that eating the protein is so important, not only does it slow down the release of sugar into our bloodstream, but the protein helps us rebuild our muscles. There are hormones that actually convert that into muscle building. So when you're sore after a workout, you can think of it as like your muscles kind of getting ripped a little bit, and then it pulls the protein that you consume from your food into that rebuilding process. And then, as you all are aware, as we age, we need to have more muscle mass because it contributes to our bone density. As we continue to age, we need our bone density and increased muscle mass. So I know that was a lot. I think that's all the things I wanted to talk about today. Was the muscle soreness, the high intensity interval for burning belly fat, the portion control, regarding the palm-sized protein, fist-sized carbohydrate, and I'm talking about complex carbs, or like a fruit or a vegetable, or 2 cupped hands of a fresh raw veggies, like a salad, and then thumb-sized fats. You can, do that often throughout the day. So I'm just reversing my notes here. Stopping eating when you're 80% full and chewing your food, especially if you have sleep apnea, to help you get more sleep and to help develop stronger muscles to keep your airways open. Okay. That is it. Have a wonderful day. Yeah, bye.